Alrighty, what do we want to talk about today? Today's topic, I'm thinking we need to talk more about like a certain feeling that I feel like a lot of people have had. Where is that zombie coming from? And I feel like it's almost that feeling when something kind of just hits you out of nowhere and you pause for a second, and it's not like you planned this or anything, but you just kind of sit there and you kind of just feel like you have to, if that makes sense. And you are suddenly just not fully here, if that makes sense. You're in the moment and you're feeling things and you are thinking about a lot of different things as well, but you're not fully here. Like you are, but your mind is also somewhere else. It's like back in some random moment that you didn't even think really mattered at the time, but now the more you keep looking back, you actually realize that it does matter and it does make you feel certain ways. And it's weird because you don't just sit there and remember it, you're also feeling it. You're feeling the air, the sounds, the way everything moved, the way you felt in the space, the way people felt around you, and just like all those little things that you wouldn't necessarily expect. So you just kind of sit there and you let it happen and you don't stop it from happening. You just kind of ride the wave and see where it leads. I don't know. I guess in that moment, it almost feels like it's important to let it do so, just to make sure that there isn't something there that you missed or something there that you still need to learn from that thing. And then as things continue, as you let your brain continue to wander, it doesn't actually stop at that one memory. It's like it turns into another one and another one and another, and on and on and on, and suddenly you're thinking about all of these moments that you haven't thought about in literally forever, and you're thinking to yourself, why am I thinking of this now? What is happening? And it gets kind of surreal. So it feels like you can close your eyes and you can immediately just teleport back there because of what I explained earlier, how you can just sit there and feel all of the different things. In that way, it makes you feel like you could almost go back there when your eyes are closed, but also you're not there. And I think that's the part that kind of gets us, because the feeling at the time and the memory at the time was not necessarily perfect or anything, but it just felt a little bit more simple than where we are today. And it's nice to kind of just look back at it and feel back at it and remember the times when things felt just that little bit more simple. I think for me, it's really nice when you're able to do this and go back to a feeling or a point in your life when you weren't necessarily overthinking everything and you weren't trying to figure things out. You're just there. And maybe that's what I actually miss, I guess. Maybe not even the moment itself, but maybe the times that felt simpler, the times that I wasn't overthinking everything or worried about the future or worried about things that happened in the past. Maybe that's really what it was about. And it's so weird, right? Because when you're in that specific moment and you're living out whatever it is, you don't necessarily sit there and think, oh yeah, this is gonna be a moment that I remember forever. It kind of just happens, and then all of a sudden you teleport like 10, 15 years in the future and you look back at whatever it is and you think, holy, like that's one thing that mattered, and I never even realized that that was one thing that was going to matter. What on earth? And now I'm sitting here looking back at it, and not in a bad way, not in like a I wish I could go back kind of situation, but just as a memory thing, thinking of, wow, that was so fun, that was so good. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Things like that. And then now we also can think of like, oh my gosh, now we're here, we're in that 10, 15 years into the future, and we're in a different place, we're in a different version of life, we're in a different version of us, we're just completely different, right? But somehow all of those memories from what we're calling the past are still there, and they didn't go away. And so it makes me think, like, why does this hit so hard? Is it nostalgia, or is it just because some memories stick like that? Like, what makes it so that those memories are the ones that we remember? What makes us remember those feelings? Or what makes us remember the way that we felt that we did? Oh my. Well, I found all of the zombies. Holy crap, guys. Okay, do we deal with this now? Or do we wait? I feel like we wait. We're just gonna cover that up for a minute. Anyway, back to that. We're just gonna cut over this way instead. I'm wondering, is it because we missed the moment? Or do we miss, like I said, the feeling of it? Or do we miss the fact that it was something that you could just go do? Like, say if it's like a hobby or experience or a time with certain people or whatever, is it something like that where we just wish we could go do without thinking about everything else, with no pressure, none of that overthinking, and just being able to be in it? And then there's this other feeling too that's also just way quieter, but it's there. And it's kind of weird. It's like the empty space, but not in a bad way. It's just kind of there. And then that also makes me think, was it the sadness? Was it the peace? Was it not having peace? Was it something just kind of in between? And then it just shows up in those moments that are quieter, which we are talking about when we remember these times, right? When we're sitting down, we let our mind wander and we let all of these memories come back, and these things show up in those moments. And maybe it's something that we're not supposed to fix. Like, what if it's a memory that we think that we're supposed to fix, or like something that happened that we think went wrong and we're supposed to go and fix it? Maybe that's part of it too. I don't know. Maybe it's just part of being human. Like, this is just something that happens. But I don't know, the part that makes you think and ask all of these random questions and randomly ramble about all of these different things, and maybe it's wanting more out of life than just all of this surface level stuff that we can see. I'm gonna dig some blocks there so I can get out. I just realized that. I don't know, because maybe without that feeling, we wouldn't actually notice the full moments of what actually feels good and what actually feels bad. And I think I've talked about that in previous videos too, if you're interested in going to look into all of those. But I don't know. I think maybe kind of just where the idea of this shifts a little bit, because you can spend so much time trying to figure everything out and trying to figure out how to get somewhere and trying to feel like you're doing it right, but thinking that you are going to get it just immediately right off the bat, right? First try, that it's just going to click. It's just not gonna happen. But I feel like there's also a piece in knowing that wherever you go, there is still going to be a piece of you that is you. And whether the memory is good or bad, it's still going to serve you. It still gave you experience. It still is a part of you, and it's still something that builds who you are today in this moment. And I know that this is also something that I like to think about a lot. Well, I say like, but something that I just think about a lot. Maybe we aren't really behind. Maybe we didn't mess things up, whether that's now or in the past or whatever, and maybe nothing actually is wrong. And I know that's kind of a bold statement, but if you really sit there and think about it, like, was it just that 5 minutes or 10 minutes that was not necessarily going to how you wanted it to go, or was it actually something bad? Like, are we just making something up from nothing? Is something actually wrong? And maybe life just doesn't make sense when we're in it, and so that's okay. Like, it's gonna be okay. So maybe those moments that we keep going back to, and when you let your mind wander, that we were talking about beforehand, maybe those moments aren't there to make you feel like you're missing something now. Maybe it's just something that's showing up in your life again to kind of show you how far you've grown, or show you a lesson or something that you maybe missed, or something that is relevant in your life right now and you needed to remember that memory for some reason. I don't know what it is, right? I'm kind of just talking about it and seeing what comes out, as always. So maybe those memories are literally just there to remind you that you've already had different things and scenarios and ideas and moments that have happened that mean something, and they're real, and that you're still having those types of memories now. We just don't realize it because we're living in it in the moment. And one day, this moment that you're watching this YouTube video, or that you go hang out with your friends, or that you go hang out with your kids, or whatever it is, right? This moment right now is going to possibly become those types of memories as well. And there's just no way to predict that. There's no way to really know that this is going to be that one memory that you remember 10, 15 years down the future. Down the future? What am I on about? Down the road. Oh, my brain. Anyways, and then at that point, you're probably just gonna look back on it the exact same way, and it's gonna be the same circle. It's gonna be the same catch-22 that we're in now. Anyways, that's just something that I've been thinking a little bit about lately, and I wanted to just once again reach out to you guys and put it out there on the internet and see if anybody out there kind of understands what I'm trying to explain, and if I just poorly explain this, because let's be honest, that can happen sometime. But I wanted to put it out there to you guys and just kind of see what your thoughts are and ideas are and experiences, whatever. And if you're comfortable sharing, I would love to hear about them, and I'd love to talk to you guys about it in the comments. But until then, guys, this has been Kiki or Kikkirie, and I have loved talking with you guys about all of this stuff. Cannot wait for the future, and I'll see you in whatever video, episode, or whatever else you see me in. Bye, everyone!